All right, let's go to work. That, believe it or not, is not John Daly. That's Tyler Fulgham. I'm Joe Fortenbaugh. Welcome to Bet here on Facebook, Twitter, and especially YouTube, where ESPN is shifting all of its sports betting content. If you want to check it out, youtube.com/ESPN Sports Betting. The Masters starts tomorrow. We've got a lot to talk about with the NFL. We may have a surprise guest set to join us by the end of the show, but it's Wednesday.
First of all, John Daly, I'm wearing a red shirt, a green jacket, and I have brown skin. Tiger Woods didn't come to mind?
Felt like if I had said that, it's like, why do I got to be Tiger Woods? And then I walk myself right into that situation, and it's like, I'm going to go off the complete opposite end, and we'll work from there. Every Wednesday, we always like to begin with a little let it ride or cash out. Tiger, are you ready?
I am ready, good friend.
You are ready.
The only thing
All
I'm
right.
missing is those big old chompers. He's got chiclets for teeth.
He does. He does. Do you
my
think
teeth.
those are veneers or actual legitimate
Veneers.
Eldrick Woods teeth?
They're veneers.
Veneers? All right, here we go. Let it ride or cash out. Number one, the NFL is toying around with the idea of expanding the playoffs this season in case they can't get all 16 games in for every single team.
Don't even go any farther, Joe.
A lot to think about
Don't
there.
even go any further.
For the future, though.
Yeah.
For the future,
Yes.
do you like the idea of expanding to 16 teams? You do.
We work at ESPN. They're a broadcast partner of the NFL.
That indeed.
We produce content at ESPN centered around wagering and betting and gambling. And if we get more playoff games to wager on and to bet on and to earn ad revenue from, how is that not a win-win for everyone sitting inside this studio right now? So let it ride, baby. 16, 18, 20, let the whole damn league in. More playoff games is better for us and you, the consumer, the producer, and most importantly, the fan and gambler. Let it ride. We need more
So
playoff
just to be
games.
clear, if I just continue eating more pizza, it's good for everybody. It's just more is better than less.
I've yet to hear any doctor say that that's not true.
I'm on the opposite side on this one. I am going to, if I know how to figure this stuff out, there we go, cash out. I don't want to water down the product. I feel pretty confident with where we are. If we had done this last year, 16 teams in the playoffs, 8 teams in the AFC, 8 teams in the NFC. In the AFC, we would have had Pittsburgh at 8-8 with Duck Hodges at quarterback. We also would have gotten either the Jets or the Broncos, who were 7-9. Now, all year, everyone's
Jets were
complaining.
7-9
Jets were
last year?
7. They finished 6-2 over their last 8.
I'll be a rootin' tootin'.
The only reason I remember that is because I thought maybe they'd build some momentum coming into this year, which shows you that momentum is in fact a myth. You would have gotten a 7-9 team last year in the AFC.
We've done that before.
Everyone, you can't
in the
spend all
12-team
year
format.
complaining about how the NFC East does not deserve to have a team in the playoffs, and then go, yes, let's expand the playoffs and bring in the 7-9 team.
It's not
and
so
all
much
have some
that the
fun.
NFC East team gets in; it's that they get in at the expense of a 9 or 10 win third or fourth wild card team. But if you get 16 teams in, that third or fourth team in the NFC West, that third or fourth team in the NFC North, they're going to get in anyways.
Call me old-fashioned. You add games to the playoffs. You
my
add the
friend.
risk of injury to key players. I don't want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl without Patrick Mahomes. I don't want to see the Ravens in the Super Bowl without Lamar Jackson. I worry about these things. I really do. I worry in my old age. Number 2, let it ride or cash out. Even if Andy Dalton is healthy, the Dallas Cowboys should ride with Garrett Gilbert at quarterback.
Yeah, I'll let that ride as well.
There you go.
I mean, why not? Andy Dalton is not there for the long term. He's only going to be a backup, whether Dak Prescott is back or not. And if Garrett Gilbert goes out there and plays well, you know you have a backup for Dak Prescott, whoever is your future, your signal caller for the franchise in the future going forward. So you might as well I'm always in favor of giving the young guys an opportunity or the unproven commodities to see what you have. That way you know Gilbert can stick around for 21 and beyond, or we need to bring back an Andy Dalton, or bring a Ryan Fitzpatrick here. You already know what Andy Dalton is. He's a backup in the NFL for a reason right now. Let it ride. Let Gilbert play.
Interesting, because I find myself saying the exact same thing in terms of let it ride, but for completely different reasons. My thought process is when it comes to Andy Dalton, if he comes back and he plays really well, he's only on a 1-year deal. If for some reason he played really well, he's going to be too expensive. You're not going to be able to afford him. If you sit him and he doesn't play at all, then you can get him back cheap.
See
or
the
you can
3D
play him
chess you're playing there?
3D chess.
That's pretty good.
All right, let it ride or cash out. Question number 3. The Jets have a better chance to win with Joe Flacco at quarterback rather than Sam Darnold.
Can I answer it with a who cares?
In gangrene, nonetheless.
In gangrene?
Look at you.
It's hard to see up there, but who cares? I mean,
but it says who cares. I
don't know, and I don't care. Sam Darnold, Joe Flacco, it doesn't matter as long as Adam Gase is the head coach and schematic offensive mind for that offense, or schematic mind for that offense, this team is going to be no good. What matters is, do they have the first pick so they can draft Trevor Lawrence for 21 and beyond, and have whoever is coaching him, because it won't be Adam Gase.
I will be going with cash out on this one. Joe Flacco had a chance to win the game the other night. Let me take you through it. The Jets are leading 27-20 against New England with 6 minutes remaining. Here comes Joe Flacco. The very next play throws an interception. Patriots turn that into a touchdown. It's 27-27. Hey, Flacco, you used to be elite. Maybe you'll lead the team down the field for a win. We'll forget about the INT. Instead, they go 3 and out, 8-yard completion, sack, incomplete. Patriots get the ball back, go right down the field, kick the game-winning field goal. Flacco had his chance. He doesn't have it. I'd rather go with Sam Darnold, see what you have, try to build up the stock a little bit.
I agree that Darnold's the better option. He's the better football player. He's the better quarterback than Joe Flacco. But who cares?
You still don't care.
Just who cares?
Okay?
The Jets.
It's the Jets. They do get on this show quite a bit. Question number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let it ride or cash out. Dalvin Cook, who's currently on pace for 1,961 rushing yards. Can you believe it? Will rush for 2,000 yards this year.
The cash out on that. He's missed time. You never know if an injury is going to happen again. He's not on pace, and he just had 2 of the juiciest matchups that you can have in terms of rushing production. They will run the football. That is what Mike Zimmer and the Minnesota Vikings do. That he's going to get fed just too improbable for me to go let it ride. More than likely, he'll end up with something like 1,500, 1,600 yards because matchups are getting more difficult. If he misses time, splitting carries with guys like Alexander Madison or Boone, I'm going to cash out on that big time.
My good-looking friend, am right in line with you. I am cashing out as well. Do you know that only 7 players in NFL history have rushed for 2,000 yards in a season?
Wow.
Only 7 players. 6 of them played a full 16-game season. Only one guy went over 2,000 yards without playing a full 16-game season. He played 14 games. Who was it?
14 games. O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson. Played football, and then we never heard from him again. Orenthal J. Simpson, for the young people who don't know who he is. Don't look him up. You're not going to be interested in what you find.
O.J., Chris Johnson, Eric Dickerson, Jamal Lewis, Adrian Peterson.
Didn't have it in front of me.
Okay,
Don't know.
never mind.
Look at you, though.
Just trying.
Very nicely
you can
done.
Check me out there.
Final one for you. Let it ride or cash out. The Masters will have a first-time major winner. Not Masters winner like Bryson. Major winner.
Cashing out. My pick is someone who already has a major championship. We'll save that for later in the show. A little tease there.
What a pro.
As much as I like guys like John Rahm, Patrick Cantley, we've seen 2 first-time winners so far this year. Colin Morikawa at the PGA, Bryson DeChambeau at the U.S. Open. They were first-time winners. So at a course like Augusta, it pays to have experience. It pays to know how to win, whether it's majors or at this course, because it is the course where you have to have the most depth of knowledge about how your golf ball is going to interact with the weather, the terrain, and the green. So I don't think it will be a first-time winner this time around, even though we've had 2 so far in this pandemic-affected season.
I am going to jump right in that hot tub with you, my friend, but from a nice, safe distance.
The water's warm.
For a variety of reasons. I am a married man. There'll be no closing. This is one of those gigantic hot tubs. Let's consider it a very heated pool. Now that I think about
this,
if
we're 6 feet.
I want a large heated pool that we'll be sharing together.
Can I wear a Speedo?
Do you wear Speedos?
None of your damn business, and I appreciate if you'd say it on my personal affairs.
I'm cashing out on this one. 4 of the 5 golfers with the best odds to win this thing have won a major before. Your boy Bryson, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy. I also get Brooks Koepka, Bubba Watson, Patrick Reed,
right.
Jason Day. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. But if it does, that's not going to surprise me in the least. And so concludes Let It Ride or Cash Out. Now, is this where we're going with a little interview, or are we moving here to... We are going to an interview. So speaking of the Masters, we now very happy. You can see him right there.
The man.
He took the hat off, which we loved. We saw it on Daily Wager today. The co-host of the Maddie and the Caddy podcast,
look at that.
Michael Collins.
But see, it puts some shade over me, so I can't rock it. You know what I mean? Like, so.
I feel you. That's TV.
And
TV
listen,
rules.
before you even start, I'm just going to tell both of you guys in your European swim trunks, go ahead and jump in that hot tub if you want to. You know why? Because when it comes to first-time winner, if I'm going to throw some cash down, I'm going to let it ride. I'm going to let it ride on Jason Kokrak. Bam. Jason Kokrak, if one guy out there right now at 66-1 has a chance to do what only Fuzzy Zeller did in 1979, give me Jason Kokrak. Bam. Let it ride. And you guys enjoy your European swim trunks in the hot tub together.
There will be no European swim trunks or hot tub together. It's a tactical mistake bringing that up with this gentleman. So let me get into question number 1 for you. Tiger Woods the defending champion, most popular golfer of all time, 35-1 to win the Masters. Did those odds surprise you?
Yeah, they ain't high enough. I would not put $5 on Tiger unless he was over 50-1.
Wow.
This is not like last year. You have to remember last year when he won the Masters, he won the Zozo coming in. So it wasn't like was playing like he's playing now. He has been playing horrifically, and it's the putter that's the problem. Augusta is a second-shot golf course where short game and putting really matters. So the fact that Tiger hasn't been putting well, you don't just magically find that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's Tiger Woods. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not around for the weekend, but I also wouldn't be at all surprised if he finishes inside the top 20. But 35-1 to win, no way those odds were in the right spot.
I'm with you. It pains me, Michael, that I won't be backing my horse, Tiger Woods. I was able to afford this very expensive green jacket that is mimicking what they give away at Augusta because I bet on Tiger last year to win. I won't be doing it this year, even though he afforded me the ability to buy this wonderful jacket. Now, Tiger won that Masters in 2019 all the way back in April. Okay, that's usually when we go down to Augusta, Georgia, and see the azaleas bloom. But now we're playing in November. It appears, as far as the weather is concerned, it's going to kind of mimic April conditions, maybe some rain in the forecast. How might the weather affect some of the contenders that we have going in 2020?
Here's one of the funniest ironies with this and the year that we're having right now. It's going to be warmer to start the tournament off than it would have been in April. There is some I know. This is 2020 right now. Where you just like it's, you know what? It's 2020. We just gotta find a way to get through this, right? So, what's going to happen because of this weather and because we're playing it in November? Because the weather that's coming, the fairways are going to play slow. Now, Augusta National has sub-air. They're going to be able to suck all the moisture out of those greens. So the greens are still going to be softer, but not like the fairway. But with the fairways being soft and the weather coming in, the further that you can carry the ball in the air, the better. The people that this hurts are guys like Webb Simpson or the older champions like Zach Johnson who can't carry the ball that far because they're going to have a disadvantage in coming in with clubs that are much longer than guys that everybody's talking about like Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, John Rahm. All of these guys are going to have a little bit of an advantage. What you are going to see also is guys playing chip shots around the green that are a little different that you wouldn't see in April because it's been so warm, the Bermuda grass that's normally died off and not there in April is still there. So the ball's going to sit a little different where guys are going to be able to play shots around the greens that they normally wouldn't be able to play in April. This helps guys that are really creative with chipping.
Michael, you mentioned the favorite, Bryson DeChambeau, 8-1 to win this thing. He's been absolutely nuking the ball ever since he added 40 pounds of beef in like that 5 to 6 month stretch. Now, when Tiger came on the tour and started out driving everyone talked about his weightlifting regimen, and a lot of guys got into the gym. Are a lot of guys going to be looking at Bryson and how he's just putting these massive drives out there and start adding weight to their frames? Is Dustin Johnson going to go from toothpick to squat rack?
No, see, Dustin Johnson, he doesn't have the body type to actually put on 40 to 50 more pounds. And Bryson is talking about putting on more weights. Bryson, seriously, if you really need help putting on weight, I can show you how to do it. I'm just saying. But here's the thing, like Bryson I saw a number today out on social media that one of my buddies, Nick Faldo, put out there. Bryson's ball speed was 200 miles an hour. And the ball carried 368 yards. Is this the trend? Yes, because guys are more fit and more into fitness, like Tiger Woods started that trend, and now Bryson is what's becoming the Incredible Hulk. More guys are going to try to do that. The thing that scares me about this with Bryson this week is if Bryson DeChambeau tears this course apart like people have said he could, Bryson DeChambeau is going to do to the golf ball what Adam Scott did to the long-anchored putter after winning at Augusta. So, I mean, Bryson putting all that weight on is big time for golf, but there is going to be a plateau, and we'll have to see where that plateau is because he doesn't think he's there right now.
Yeah, it's crazy what Bryson is doing, and we've already seen guys like Rory McIlroy put those little speedometers at the driving range to measure ball speed off the club head speed through contact. Of course, Bryson, all about the numbers and data when he's playing. Michael, I want to have a fun little game with you, okay? Because, of course, the Masters, whoever wins on Monday, all the talking heads, the newspaper headlines, it's narrative, it's a story. So I'm going to give you 5 names of golfers here and rapid fire as quickly as you can, succinctly as you can, kind of just give what we're going to be saying, what the narrative is going to be if this golfer is victorious after Sunday.
I'm going to sit back in the hot tub for this one.
You sit back in the hot tub.
If the golfer wins, okay, man, you enjoy. Turn the bubbles on. If the golfer wins, what's going to be the narrative? I got you.
We're up to 104 all the way in the hot tub.
Feels
by the way.
good.
First and foremost, Rory McIlroy completes the career Grand Slam.
A long time coming, demons finally exorcised.
Yeah, he's had some issues there on the back nine before, and what a story it would be if Rory joins that group that has won every major. Phil Mickelson is 50-plus years old. Another green jacket would mean?
Would mean who saw this coming? A guy who missed every PGA Tour cut leading up to this. He did get 2 wins on the Champions Tour, but Phil Mickelson winning again at the Masters. Actually, the headline would be, "Hey, Tiger, I'm coming."
I just want to see Phil in the Aviators, by the way, on the first hole that he's been rocking now that he's turned 50. All right, Jordan Spieth hasn't won since the Open Championship in 2017. If he somehow surprisingly pulls it off here, what's the story?
The story would be Jordan finds his happy place. Because for Jordan Spieth, the Masters is his happy spot. No matter how he's playing on tour leading up to, he gets to Augusta and kind of forgets all the bad stuff and just plays golf because he's been so successful at Augusta in the past. When he gets there, expect him to be, after the first round, I expect Jordan Spieth's name to be up somewhere near the top of the leaderboard. I don't know if he'll stay there the whole time, but if he ends up winning, then, yeah, Jordan's basically saying, hey, open up Disneyland because this is my happy place right now.
I think he has the #1 scoring average amongst any player in this event with at least 20 rounds or so. At 55-1, real quick, is there maybe some value on Spieth for a few units?
No, right. Don't trust it. Don't trust it. And here's another guy, Ricky Fowler, the last 3 years, he's 26 under at the Masters. If you combine his scoring,
how about John
pretty
Rahm?
Good. But would I bet on him? Nah, I ain't betting on him.
Okay. How about John Rahm? His first major finally comes. He dons a green jacket.
This is my pick to win the Masters. John Rahm, I think, is going to get it done, and I think the headline will be, I'm the #1 player in the world, period. At #2, remember Dustin Johnson's #1, but at #2 in the world, John Rahm comes into this week. You want to talk about the stars lining up and some karma? How about this? John Rahm makes a hole-in-one on his birthday, skipping it across the pond on 16 yesterday. Right. What everyone forgets is he made a hole-in-one Monday. He made a hole-in-one Monday at the 4th hole, one of the hardest holes on the golf course. And when I was in Augusta with him and Ricky Fowler and Ian Poulter on Monday. He made both hole-in-ones with Ricky Fowler in the group, and he was like, nah. Yeah, I made a hole-in-one. It was pretty cool. And they did it again the next day on Tuesday. This dude is so confident, and his game is in such a good place right now with his ball striking. And like I said, this is a second-shot golf course. John Rahm winning the Masters should be a surprise to no one. And at 10-1, man, you can make some money from that.
I'm going to shout out my boys Bryant McFadden and Patrick Peterson. Yeah, Cardinals cornerback and former Steelers cornerback. They have a All Things Covered podcast. Check it out. John Rahm recently on there, and you're right. He sounds confident and ready to take that next step and win a major. Finally,
Patrick Peterson's my boy too. I actually travel.
He's a good golfer. He's probably the best golfer in the NFL.
He is an addict.
Yeah, he might be on the Champions Tour when he's done playing in the NFL. No joke. The dude loves it. Rahm said he has more club head speed than Rahm. He said Patrick Peterson has more club head speed than even John Rahm. Finally, okay, the defending champ is 35-1. Tiger Woods knows this course better than anyone in the world. If Tiger Woods somehow gets his game together and wins a back-to-back green jacket, what say you?
If Tiger Woods wins the Masters, expect frogs and locusts to be coming as well. Listen, people don't understand. I love Tiger Woods, but I'm trying to be realistic. And is it realistic to think, from the way that Tiger's been playing, that he's going to win the Masters? So a miracle again at the Masters. I mean, after 2019 and what we saw and that hug with him and Sam at the back of the green like he did with his dad in 1997, I never saw that many people crying in the media center before. And then when I went to the caddy shack afterwards, I never saw that many caddies waiting for another caddy, Joe LaCava, to show up, even though it never showed up afterwards. That many guys waiting. Tiger, if he somehow, some way found a way to win this Masters, then I say we don't even go to December. We start 2021 Monday. We make Monday, January 1st, 2021, and like, you know what? We're good. Let's go, man. What about Thanksgiving? Just bring we'll have turkey in the middle of January. Shut up. Let's do this. Yeah, but I mean, Tiger winning would be miraculous to the point where, yeah, I would figure
the world's
that
coming to an end, basically.
My hair would go from here to here on Monday. So if I have an afro on Monday, there you go.
All right. Well, hey, maybe then not a bad idea if Tiger wins. You might look good with the fro there, Michael. I think the look would be nice.
Michael, final question for you on the way out the door, and I know you alluded to it, but we always like to end as spectacularly as possible. Who you got winning this thing?
John Rahm. I said it before, and I'll say it again. John Rahm, I think, world number 2. He is confident. He has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because he is world number 2 and because everyone's talking about Bryson DeChambeau and what he's doing on the golf course, and the fact that Colin Morikawa won the first major that we saw of this year in San Francisco, and there wasn't fans there. I think Bryson DeChambeau winning and not having fans at Winged Foot for the U.S. Open, and I think not having patrons at the Masters will help John Rahm stay level-headed. He won't get too up or too low, and I think that's why he's my guy to win this week.
He's the co-host of the Maddie and the Caddy podcast. Michael Collins, kind enough to join us here on Bet. Thank you so much for your time, Michael. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and hey, check out America's Caddy on ESPN Plus. My new show on ESPN Plus, episode 2 is out, and it's a lot of fun.
I like
Beautiful
it. The plug
stuff.
is nice.
All right.
Thank you, Michael.
Speaking of big underdogs, big dog, little dog game we like to play every week as we look forward to the NFL card this weekend. A big dog is classified as +3.5 or greater. A little dog is +3 or less. I'm sure you can follow.
I got that math.
Who's your big dog this week?
Big dog. How about Teddy Bridgewater, the Great Dane, and the Carolina Panthers?
Teddy covers, man.
Teddy covers. That's why he's my big dog. 75% cover percentage as a starting quarterback in the NFL, which is the best in the Super Bowl era by a significant margin over Patrick Mahomes. He's better in Vegas than Patrick Mahomes is. Not in real life, of course. But in Vegas, the best quarterback in the world is not Patrick Mahomes. It's Teddy Bridgewater. And now with the news that Christian McCaffrey is not going to be playing in this game, you're getting more points with the Carolina Panthers. And running backs don't affect spreads. As great as McCaffrey is, when they put Mike Davis in there, they're basically undefeated. And Mike Davis was 95% of Christian McCaffrey. So I think the Bucs really are in kind of some kind of identity crisis. I'm not going to say it's because they brought Antonio Brown in, but they're going through something right now. They don't scare me as much as they did a few weeks back. Teddy Bridgewater covers 75% at 5.5-point dogs. I love that, especially at home.
Big dog, I'm going to the low end of the criteria here. It's the New York Giants at +3.5. They're taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, who are coming off the bye. Let me see if I get this right. We got an Eagles team that's 3-4-1, and they are going to be traveling on the road for a divisional game. They rank 30th in turnover differential. They rank 23rd in scoring offense, and they're going to lay 3.5, and everything's going to be fine. If there's anything we know about the NFC East this year, nothing is fine. Literally nothing is fine with any of you. It kills me to do it, but if I'm going with a big dog, it's the low end of the threshold. It's going to be the Giants at +3.5. Now, to the little dog, a team that you like in the underdog role of +3 or less.
The Chicago Bears. They're going to be my little dog. They're 2.5-point home dogs against the Minnesota Vikings. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's the Chicago Bears who are, 5-3, 5-4. It's the Vikings who only have 3 wins. I know Dalvin Cook has looked great, but again, he put up these big numbers coming off of an injury against juicy defensive matchups. Chicago, although not dynamic against the run, is middle of the pack. They're awesome against the pass. So Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, and Adam Thielen, I think, are going to have trouble in this game. I don't think Dalvin Cook's going for 2 bills. And Minnesota's defense, especially without anyone who can cover in the back end of the secondary, is going to lift up Nick Foles and make him look like a competent starting quarterback because he'll just throw jump balls to Allen Robinson. He'll snatch him for scores. I like the Bears to win that game.
Minnesota is surging as of late, but the Chicago Bears, they've got that defense you can bank on there, so that should be the situation that you look forward to. My little dog, the Los Angeles Chargers of Los Angeles. So let me see if I got this right. They're going to travel to Miami to play the Dolphins. Now, the Chargers, all they do is blow games. We saw it happen again this weekend.
Yeah.
Every single week, it's the Chargers blowing games. Meanwhile, here's Miami. They're in the game of the week against Arizona. Total shootout between Tua and Kyler, and the Dolphins emerge victorious. Dolphins come home, and they're not even laying the full 3 points, which is customary for home field.
Right.
In fact, they were laying 3, and it got bet down to 2.5. Something stinks about that game. I have no other logic other than the fact that something smells about that game. I'm going with the Chargers there.
The chum they're throwing the Dolphins. It stinks.
I mean, the Dolphins should roll them based on everything we've seen, but here's the recap of Big Dog versus Little Dog for the week. Big Dog, again, has to be an underdog of +3.5 or greater. Shout out to Tyler.
You're going
for
out
reach.
on a ledge there with that?
Yeah, I really went to the low end of the spectrum. And then on the Little Dog, it has to be +3 or fewer. Tyler going with the Bears. I will be going with the Chargers. And now it is time for a little contender versus pretender as we approach week 10 of the NFL season. I am going to name 4 teams for you. You are going to tell me very simply, are they a playoff contender, legitimate, or are they a pretender? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Number 1, the Indianapolis Colts.
Legit playoff contender. They have a defense that can win games, led by DeForest Buckner up front, Darius Leonard, and Xavier Rhodes at all 3 levels. Matt Eberflus. I know there's some issues with that offense, but defense travels, and they have a good one.
In the AFC, we're down to 9 teams competing for 7 playoff spots. It's simply math.
They already
in
have
my
5
opinion.
wins, right?
I am with you. They are a contender because they're still in line to win the division. Them and Tennessee going back and forth. The Raiders are not going to challenge the Chiefs. The Browns are not going to challenge the Steelers. The Dolphins are going to have a hell of a time trying to get to where Buffalo is. Contender, pretender, number 2, one of the teams we just mentioned, the Cleveland Browns.
Reluctantly a contender.
Ooh.
They can run the football. Nick Chubb is coming back. They have Myles Garrett on defense, who might be Defensive Player of the Year. They're not going to win the division, but the fact that there's an extra wild card, and we may get, as we talked about, an 8th team into the postseason, that would greatly help their chances. But already with 5 wins, you're more than halfway to the 9 you're going to need to get into the postseason this year.
By the way, if they added playoff teams this year, that would screw up so many of those yes/no playoff props.
It really would.
That are out there. I am with you. I will say contender as well. Look at the remaining games. Very winnable remaining games against the Texans, Eagles, Jaguars, Jets, and Giants. That's 5 games right there. They already have 5 wins. They could be a 10-win team just by handling that portion of the schedule, which is very reasonable. Contender, pretender, number 3. Team you were just talking about, the Chicago Bears.
They're a contender. They got Khalil Mack, they got Akeem Hicks, they got Eddie Jackson, they got Kyle Fuller. That defense, again, much in the same way that the Colts will contend in the AFC, the Bears will contend in the NFC despite their deficiencies on offense because that defense travels and can win them games, keep them in close games in case Nick decides to show up or Trubisky decides to have a good game. If they're going to be in close ones, every once in a while, that Nick Foles magic will sprinkle some fairy dust on a victory. They already have 5 wins again, so they're more than halfway to the 9. You probably need a contender.
They are 5-4 with a -12 point differential.
Yeah, that's not good.
At this point in the season, I'd rather focus on the point differential than I would the record because the point differential to me is more indicative of how good you are. 5-4 with a -12, you should probably be 4-5. Not only that, you have a terrible quarterback situation. I've got the Bears as a pretender. As a pretender. At number 4, contender, pretender, the Minnesota Vikings, as we stay in the NFC North.
Vikings at 3-5 to me are a pretender. They definitely have more offensive talent than the Chicago Bears, but they're the inverse. They can't play defense. They can't stop anyone. And Kirk Cousins to me isn't dynamic enough going up against comparable or middle of the pack defenses to win them games when everyone's scoring 30 on them. So Dalvin Cook's great, Jefferson and Thielen are great, but this is a pretender because they only have 3 wins right now, and I don't think they're going to get to the 9 you'd need in the NFC.
I want to take a shot, and I want to call them a contender.
But But Joe, you just said the Bears were a pretender. Their point differential is -12. The Vikings is -17. Explain yourself.
Trending in two different directions. The Bears strong early, the Vikings strong now. As the Bears are falling apart, take a listen to the Vikings have coming up in their next 4 games.
Okay.
They're going to play Chicago,
Okay.
Dallas,
Okay.
Carolina, and
Okay.
Jacksonville.
Okay.
They can
Winnable
go
games.
from 3-5 to
Winnable
7-5 like that, and then we're right back in it.
I don't know if they're going to go 4-0 there, but Jacksonville, Dallas do look easy because
No. Jacksonville, they'll be peaking right at that time.
Dalvin will run for 200 in those games.
Any last-second bets for people that are looking at the Masters tomorrow?
Yeah, I do like Tony Finau at 28-1. Bryson DeChambeau obviously is my pick, and if you want some plus money on Bryson DeChambeau in round 1 against John Rahm and Louis Oosthuizen, if he wins round 1, plus 130. Good bet.
Jason Day, -120 over Tiger Woods in round 1 for me. That's it for us. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Pacific.
I earned this green jacket.